Alright, so our last lecture was a bit of an info dump, so let's slow down and look at some examples of how we can work with lists in Python. So the first thing I want to do, I want to repeat some of the steps that we did, and the first thing we're going to do is print a single item from a list. So we have an example list here containing the names of a few countries: USA, China, Germany, UK, India, and Japan. So we're going to first do a comment that says print the first element, which in our case is going to be USA. So let's say print countries, whoops, RIES. And because we accidentally auto-completed the wrong thing, that gave us this import. Not a problem, we just dump it. So we have countries sub 0. And that's going to print your first element. So now we want to print the fourth element. So it's just going to be print countries sub 3. Remember, we start with 0. 0 is our first. That makes 1 our second, 2 our third, 3 our fourth. Now we're going to print the last one. Print the last element. We could do the whole last element thing from the PowerPoints, and that's what you might have to do with other languages. But we're going to keep it simple. We're going to do it the Python way, and we're going to say print countries sub -1. Okay? Easy peasy. Now we're going to print every other element. So let's say that. Print every other element. And it's going to be print countries sub 0 : saying 0 to the end in steps of 2. So in this case, we will print USA, Germany, and India. Remember, if we were to say 0 to -1, this isn't going to work. This will only go up to the second to last index. So if you want to go all the way to the end, remember to do 0 : or just : I prefer to do 0 : because it makes more sense in my head. It is more readable to me. And of course, if we want to print the entire list, there are two ways we can go about it. We can do it in raw form, and this is as easy as it gets. Print countries. Oh my goodness, I did it again. Whoops. Kick this out again. It's a nice feature of Python, of Visual Studio Code, that it'll do these imports for you, but it's not what we're interested in right now. So this is how you print your list in raw form. But if I want you to print the entire list, and I'm in a meaningful fashion, here's how I want you to do it. We're going to loop through the list, and then we're going to print each one. So we can say for country in countries, print country. All right. This is the very basic kind of list operation. We can also change values. Let's see that. Change a value on a list. Let's change UK, or no, let's change UK. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be element number 3. This is a brute force way to do it, not really the best way, but it'll show it off. Nope, not print. So we say countries sub 3 equals, we'll change this one to Sweden. Okay, so we have now print, let's just raw print countries, and that's going to show us our new thing. We can also add something to our list. Add another, be more general than that, element to the list. We can say countries.append, and we, in parentheses, give it something new. Let's go with Mexico. So these are your basic list operations that you are going to need in this class. There is also the join method, which we'll talk about later. Actually, no. Stringify a list. So we can do this, and this involves using the join method. And remember, the way we use join is we call the method on the separator and give it a list. So let's call it, let's just call it toString. That's a better one. toString equals comma space dot join countries. And now let's save this. I'm going to save it in downloads. We're going to say collections.py. I probably should not have done the manual.py. We'll see. It's fine. So we're going to open up in our terminal here, and we're going to say Python countries.py, and you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff printed. Hopefully, I didn't make any mistakes. No mistakes made. Okay, so we see our first element was US, our fourth was UK, our last is Japan. We print every other element, USA, Germany, India. We print the whole list in raw form, USA, China, Germany, UK, India, Japan. So now we have each one printed on its own line, and here you could add some other things to make things more meaningful. But we have just everything printed neatly in order. And now we've changed UK to Sweden, and we reprint USA, China, Germany, Sweden, India, Japan. And one last thing that I forgot to do is print toString. Print toString. We'll save that. We'll rerun this and just look at the last line. So you can see we now have a comma-separated string with all of our countries, including Mexico, which we added just before we stringified it. So we have US, comma, China, comma, Germany, comma, Sweden, comma, India, comma, Japan, comma, Mexico. And the join method does not add another comma, which would be an issue you have to work around should you try to do this using a for loop. So that covers the list basics. Use this video to, back up, slow it down, look at everything piece by piece. Of course, after I've recorded all these and written all of these notes, this will go up on Canvas as well for you to see and play around with yourself. So when we come back, we're going to do part 2 of lists. We're going to be talking composition. So stick around for that.